What's up, guys? Welcome to the NiNe Show.
Where would this take them? Where is this current feeling or value set going to take them in the future?
Like
Yeah.
opposites. Like you're going that way, I'm going this way.
I mean this very literally. There's no emotion. And how I did that, for me, it's just pure efficacy of recall.
I got sometimes like, oh, I have to human. I think that's the NI as opposed to NE that just wants to see it in its totality, right?
Common point of what was that word you used, Odom?
What? What the? Yo, what
Eddie.
the fuck? Okay, go on, go. Let's
Dude, I
go.
had a friend
I will chew you.
All right.
Let's go, guys.
Yes.
Welcome to NiNe Show, guys. Welcome to another episode. Today we are talking about SI, the intuitive sensing function, the intuitive observing function, SI, sensing introvertedly. Just a real quick heads up, I'm Jono, we have Odom, we have Leon, we have Asees, we're four intuitives. I'm an ENFP, Asees is an ENTP, Leon's an INTJ, and Odom is an INFJ. Today is also Asees' birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Asees.
birthday
No, don't
to you.
Come on.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Oh,
to you. We're all probably lagging right now.
Yeah.
Even my DNF is cringing.
Let's skip over the sensory and just, it happened already. Cool, happy birthday. Nice.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so today we're talking about SI, introverted sensing. So what is introverted sensing? What is SI? Who better to take us away than Leon, who doesn't have SI?
I can give you, I was about to say, I can give you somebody else better. But anyways, SI is definitely introverted sensing. It's organizing things in reality, keeping things in order. It's one of the organizing, controlling functions. You would use SI to set up your recording studio for your YouTube channel, or to organize your medical documents and organize your refrigerator. So everything is separated. It could also be used for chopping wood, separating large logs from thin logs, separating cherry wood from pine wood, etc.
Wow, sounds like a nightmare. But it sounds like
only
it'd
for
be very
SIs.
useful. It sounds like it'd be a very useful thing.
SI homes are the nicest, cleanest, most spacious homes that don't feel empty or too spacious.
Nice. I feel like that's like what I need to get to. That's like my goal. Create an SI home.
Do not look around. Do not look around my apartment.
I live with an SE dom. It's all good. I get it. All right. Asees, what else can you tell us about SI? What is it?
Yeah. So going off of what Leon said, organizing things in reality seems to sort of be the looking at things with the most detail, like out of all of the functions, really. And how that sort of works, or how I sort of see that working, is you have. So let's juxtapose that with the extroverted functions, where you're sort of contending with things on a spectrum, right? But then with SI, it seems like it's like the most close up. Like it's not like you're focusing that on one aspect of the spectrum, because that implies that you can still see part of it. But it's more like this, so you can barely see the multiple things on the spectrum, let alone.
So if we have an example here, we have a painting. So it's the example would be like you're looking at it like this, like you're like seeing smile.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, you're looking
Yeah.
at things at
Like
the
being-
highest resolution.
Yeah.
my cousin does
SI
that.
would be like a master of
Nice.
little,
That's pretty good.
but
Yeah,
SE would not be a
Yeah.
master at all.
yeah,
They would know,
SE, yeah,
multiple.
SE hates SI. Not as much as NE though.
Well, I love it.
But
I have NI.
yeah, well, that's what you have NI. But the looking at things at the smallest, at the highest resolution, it comes into play when the people with higher SE or SI over NE, when they start to use their NE, where it's like, okay, how do I how do I make sense of this sensory? And so then it's like SI is each individual instance at the highest resolution, so the most rich and specific level of analysis. And then NE will tell you, or rather you would use NE to tell you which ones are relevant, which ones matter, and how those interact. And so then they keep interacting, because then you could treat those interactions as sensory. See, that's another thing as well. One man's sensory is another man's intuition, and one level's sensory is another level's intuition. So you can just sort of keep stacking stuff like that, though. And we will talk about this more in our next video. Masculine sensory will be less likely to do that, because the more you stack, the more intuition you have to use. But they will, SI leads will stack very clearly and very accurately, because SI, each individual instance has been given so much information. That's why you can sort of think as like SIs loving itemized lists, even though they're completely awesome and everybody should get them always to make sure that they're good cooked. You can think of that sort of the concept of itemized list as SI, where every single thing is accounted for.
That was awesome.
Yo, I have a question about, like, that was really cool. That was really in depth. And like, even from what you said, I got a bit of an insight as to what OE does to the OI. So you're talking about the stacking effect of NE. And as an NI person, I kind of stack the sensory. So I'm always looking for examples of this concept. So I'm always like, how many different examples can I see represent this concept? So yeah, I was wondering, do you have any examples of what you're saying? Like, could you give sensory examples?
Okay, so I kind of said a few things. So which part in particular?
About the about
The stacking.
I guess about the relationship between SI and NE, the stacking and how they relate to each other, and also what you said about one man's sensory is another man's intuition. So like an example of the different levels.
Okay. Okay, so so with I'll talk about the latter first. So all the functions are inherently subjective, right? It's all I'm using the functions that I have, and then Jono is using the functions he have, and so we both have NE and SI, and regardless of the modalities, even if we were the same type, we would be using those functions it's like a hair differently. And so that happens because that's still our individual choice to use our functions. It's just because, if we would be the same type, then it would just align almost exactly. So what that means is that it's easier for some people to make leaps, and perhaps this goes a little bit beyond just type, but it is easier for some people to make intuitive leaps than others. And it's easier for some people to contend with certain types of informations in certain domains and in certain subjects than it is for other people in the same area. So, like some people hate math. Some people just don't get math, but they're excellent writers, right? And so they could like do. Yeah. You are a good writer. But it's, they're just not able to build in that area, and so they won't be able to use the intuition as much since we're talking about SINE. I'm not quite sure how SENI does this, but they wouldn't be able to do the building thing that I was talking about and that you were asking about, Arun. Because and because they don't quite grasp how to go from one level to the next, which would be the intuition.
Yeah.
And so like the
Okay.
sensory is like the base
Yeah.
that disseminates the next level, and then you
Okay.
go there, and that disseminates the next level. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to you guys right now, and I'm talking to, of course, you guys listeners. I'm not addressing you as like a bundle of cells, right? I'm addressing you as the thing that emerges from multiple levels of cells,
Yeah.
which is you guys as conscious beings, right? If I didn't treat you as conscious beings, you guys might get a little pissed off. So you know, it's that's what that is. And so if you're not as good in a specific domain for whatever reason, you're just not going to be able to stack as much. So you're going to have to rely more on sensory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which has its
Damn.
perks.
That was some interesting and deep insights. I loved it, man.
Thank you.
So much to talk about.
Deep insight from my shallow intuition.
Yeah. All right. So that's basically, we kind of talked about what is SI and went on a bit of a deep dive onto how it interacts with an E. But let's talk about more about SI from a Saviour perspective. People that have SI as a Saviour, what does it look like? Maybe we'll start with Odom, and then I'll jump.
Yeah. Cool. Give me a sec. Just getting ready to blast. All right, so I don't have SI, so this is like an outside perspective. So to me, like, so Saviour SIs are just super grounded in whatever's going on, and because it's OI over OE, they can be disinterested in gathering new facts if it doesn't influence what they've already organized. So just from my personal experience, you know, SE kind of likes pointing shit out, like just being like, "Ooh, look at this thing!" Like, and whenever I do that with Saviour SIs, I notice that they do kind of seem to be disinterested, sort of like, like, yeah, duh, like, you know, it's obvious, I'm not that interested. But amongst Saviour SEs, they want to entertain that stuff, like, so yeah, so I do get that kind of feeling from Saviour SIs.
Okay. So it's very particular in what they're focused on?
Yeah, like it's like they're aware of that extra sensory thing, but they don't really care about it because it's not within their IJ.
Right.
It's not their priority for that sensory to be important to them.
Yeah,
like it's more personal for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know this firsthand actually because my father has SI first, and SI as a Saviour feels responsible for organizing things in reality, whether it's good at it or not. It's just like, this is my favorite thing, and it's super personal. I'm going to keep this knife because someone gave it to me and I love that person or whatever. And the thing that my dad used to always do is he would constantly check if the doors were closed, if the lights were on in rooms that weren't being used, if the windows were open at night, and he would just be like double checking, paranoid. He would make a big point to teach me that, and I do that like a maniac now, which is good because I've never had anyone so far.
I like those examples you gave. Because I can relate to them a little bit in terms of like being responsible. Like it's more in a demon state, and I'm pretty lazy at it, but I do feel like I need to organize the sensory.
Yeah, you do also have masculine SI. My dad also has masculine SI, and he would just say double check, triple check if I double check. And I also remember instances where there was one of my church members, a church member that I went to church with. We had a little gathering at their house because he's actually married to, somebody that is high up in the church, and they had the party there. But anyways, he was constantly going around and like cleaning stuff, like picking up people's plates of food that were like not like they were finished eating or whatever. He was like, oh, that's misplaced, this is misplaced, and he's constantly like putting things back where it goes all the time. He didn't really enjoy the party, it didn't seem like, and I was like feeling bad for him, but he felt so responsible for like sweeping the floors and wiping the tables and stuff. Like you can't stop it.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Very detailed oriented. Like, it's not there. That wasn't there 2 minutes ago. It doesn't belong there.
Yeah. Going off of that a little bit, just what you said right there at the end. It seems I seem to have the most trouble with, maybe not people who are SI lead or Saviour SI, but people who sort of act in that way, where it's in the school system, where it's like, these are the rules, period. The rules don't have to exist for any reason or whatever, but those are just the rules, full stop, end of discussion, and that's sort of more on the asshole side of the spectrum, not any particular part other than the archetype of SI a little bit, but it's like you're so focused on keeping the rules in,
Yeah.
which is fine, because it does end up working for, well, it actually doesn't, but it maintains order, and the point, going from the top of the hierarchy down. But you're so focused on the rules that you didn't stop to think, is it the right thing to do? But that's fine, because at that level where the teachers are enforcing the rules, they're not supposed to be doing that. So it does end up working in their favor.
Yeah, I see that. I also see that in my boss. So this kind of goes in nicely to what I was going to bring up. But basically with SI, obviously if you're a Saviour, you're kind of organized over chaos. So you're very, I think routine is easy. So when you have to do repetitive tasks, or you have to be doing the same thing day in, day out, it kind of is a lot more natural to you. And it's not like you have to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. Like most of your brain power is just like reserved for other things, when it's just like, I can just do the same thing in and out. An example is my boss. I'm pretty sure he's a SI Saviour. And he is the most routine man I've ever seen. From the moment I met him, like I was in a meeting room with one of my colleagues, and I met him we're talking in a meeting room, and we were just talking about the business and stuff, and it was kind of getting towards the end of the meeting. It was about 2:30 or something, or 2:45, and I said, well, should we go grab a coffee or something? He looks at his watch. He's like, oh, well, it's 2:45. I normally have my coffees at 3, but I suppose I can have it 15 minutes earlier. I was just thinking in my head, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, like it's good,
like,
man.
you have to have your coffee at 3 p.m. on the dot every day.
It's like he has the coffee in his hand. He's like 3, 2, 1.
Take one sip.
Yo, but like
Take 2 sips.
on the flip, SI Saviours, or any Saviour, organized Saviour, can also be super, super chaotic when they do it. It's like, it's very, very rare, but like one day this guy might be counting down for that 3 p.m. coffee and just be like, screw it, and like throw it at somebody because he's pissed off. Like,
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like, fuck this shit.
Everybody has their flips or their chaos.
Jonathan, what you said though, real quick, just reminded me of something. Just like 1 second. What you were talking about with routines, that's what I wanted to say, and of course that's a demon SI thing. I forgot what I wanted to say. The routines, it's like you can sort of take that into the levels of analysis as well, and if you think about it in terms of routines, then it makes the most sense, because then you have a routine for like, okay, so let's say morning routine, because I'm super freaking tired. So like you have a routine to like get out the bed, and like then what you'll do like immediately after you get up or whatever. So then maybe you'll go into the bathroom and wash your face or whatever. And so then you have that routine where you'll wash your face, and you have those steps, and then you'll go there, and then those sort of build up, and then you have like the next level, and then it's like morning routine, right? And so then you got the constituent built. It's like, okay, now you can just sort of worry about that, because then it's sort of like how I've noticed, like, people's spelling is getting worse because of like the SI part of the way that SI works in our brain, like subconsciously, where it's like, okay, I don't need to know how this is spelled anymore because of autocorrect. So instead of remembering how it's spelled, so like I want to I want to say this word, and then I need to know how it's spelled, and then I have to press those letters. It's cutting that part where I need to know how it's spelled. So then it's like I want to call on a word, and then I'm just gonna type the letters because you're remembering the letters that got it to work without remembering what the letters actually were, because it's
Exactly.
a position thing, not a letter thing. And so that's why words are starting to look weird for people, and that's why boomers will make the joke, "Oh, you can't spell without autocorrect." And it's like, damn, the one thing boomers got on us, dude. They'll be dead soon, so then they can't say that.
Oh,
I know. That's good.
bro.
For all the boomers watching our channel, that was just a joke. Please,
Yo.
please subscribe to us.
Drop a like if you have a sense
Keep
of
watching.
humor.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Let's move on to SI as a demon. So I'm gonna start this one
Yes.
since you guys keep cutting me off on what I'm trying to say.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
All right. So demon SI. I still think people with demon SI can be quite organized, myself included, sometimes. If you look at my desk at work, it's like 99% of the time, it's like in order. There's no shit. There's no like junk, and everything has its place. Everything is neat and organized, so I can think without distractions. Because if my desk is like sensorily chaosy, like if it's like SE everywhere, it's gonna make me freak out and like I can't deal with this shit.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
I lose focus.
I wanted to say real quick, like that makes me think, because like you guys have a organized physical environment, but how's your mental with the NE going bing 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 bing? You know, just curious, because like
The
my
complete
mind is very
opposite.
like boom 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 boom, and then my
The
surroundings
complete
are
opposite.
chaos.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why I have to like make sure the sensory is not chaos as well, because my brain is chaos. I have to like,
Yeah,
I need the sensory to be in order so I can not be too distracted and just let the chaos happen and let it just process.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You relate to that,
for
Asees?
real.
Yeah, very much. You know, it's like I don't have a lot of things. You know, that's like when
Nice.
I went to Leon's house and when I go to other people's houses, the first thing I notice is just how many more things everyone else has than I do. I don't like use a lot of stuff, and I know that's because like I don't like even have a lot of clothes for that matter. Like if I could, I would wear the same fucking garments every day. You know,
Yes.
shirt,
Decision
pants,
fatigue.
and
Underwear.
then
Save yourself from decision
maybe
fatigue.
not underwear. Maybe not underwear. I think that's where I draw the line.
With a shirt
But-
staying in there. Yep, my
but-
favorite.
but it's like if I could get to the point to where like when I need it, and like this is like a legit goal of mine, like unless I need to wear like good and like vibrant clothes, I will just wear like the same fucking, like I will have like 7 shirts and 7 pants that are like just
Yeah.
the same, and I will wear that.
Your 7 teal polo shirts.
Bro,
That's how alpha mindsets think, dude. That's how alpha mindsets
Yeah.
operate, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
well, that's part of
I
it
just
because
I
it's like.
blame my.
Sorry, Leon.
Sorry. No, I was just
Okay.
gonna say I blame the girlfriend that's lead SE for all the things we have here that I don't want.
Bro, that's beta mindset, dude. That's beta.
Yeah, you're right. I should have stopped her.
I'm just playing around.
I should have stopped her.
Okay.
No, like I understand what you said by that, Liam, because like Saskia, my girlfriend, she's lead SE, or she's Saviour SE, not lead SE, and I have the demon SI, and it relates to you with the wanting to get rid of things all the time. Like I'm really trying to narrow down how many things I have. Like always, it's always on my mind. And she loves to like Saskia loves to bring things into the house all the time. She likes getting new clothes. She likes, and like I'm like the opposite. I'm trying to keep things out. So it's an interesting dynamic there between SE and SI.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But back on topic. For real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when it comes to routine for me, or for maybe for most demon SIs, I feel like I can do it, but I really have to like actually sit down and like, okay, bang, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to make this plan. I'm going to try to stick to it every day. I have to write it down, and I have to really focus and I need to be in a high energy state to be able to invest time to do this and create this routine.
To write it
Otherwise,
down.
exactly. Like otherwise, I'm just like, oh no, I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here's a rhetorical question. Even for the things that you really, really want to do.
Wait, what?
That was it. That was it.
That was the
That was
question.
it.
Sorry.
In my
That was
mind,
it.
I was thinking of something funny to say, but then I'm like,
Fucked
oh
up.
shit.
Fucked
Can I
up
give you a
everyone
rhetorical
the-
answer? Can I give you a rhetorical answer?
Okay, so let me be a bit more clear with the question. Because so you were saying that you find it hard for just routine in general. And so I was just asking you the question so that you could bless a little more on the sort of your sort of inner dialogue or even conflict, if it's anything like mine, where when you have something that you really, really want to do and you have to SI like it to like get it to the next step or whatever, and it just you just wait so long to do it or whatever. So what's that like for you?
Yeah. I think part of it is also related to being blast last.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to say is like if I have a list of steps, you're saying it's like a struggle to get through the list, or is that what you mean?
Yeah, because okay, so I'll give my example, and then hopefully you can come from your perspective where it was like, oh, and that's another SI thing too. My example, it's a little personal. I don't know if we touched on that yet, but just threw it out there right now. But when I was building my trading bot, I procrastinated on it a lot, even though I really wanted to do it, and I noticed that my interest was starting to wane, and wane heavily when it came to the more SI parts of it, because it's just, as far as I'm concerned, like the cognitive functions are how you're like where you use your cognition, right? So it's like, it's not like any of us are dumb, but like,
Well,
and you could say this for all of us. Let's pretend all humans are not dumb, right? The cognitive functions just seem to be where you do and don't handle complexity, right? And so then like SI complexity is like you have to contend very specifically with each thing, which is different than SE. I'm still trying to figure out how to word that exactly, but it's like you have to go step by step, and then you have to create that thing as well, Jonathan, right? And so I it's almost impossible for me to want to do that and then also do that. But because I was ignoring that, something that could have taken 2 or 3 weeks took like upwards of 3 months.
Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But the thing is, yeah, it's also like it's like the blast component of SI that
Yeah.
you're missing.
Yeah, that's part of it.
To
Okay,
like
let's
get it out,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
let's move on to pros and cons. I reckon 2 of us can do pros, the others 2 can do cons. So Leon, which one do you want to do? Leon and
open this up.
Leon and
I
Oaken.
could probably do both back to back real quick.
Do it.
SI makes my kitchen clean and organized.
That's the
That's
pro.
a pro. It's good for keeping records, separating one thing from another. You don't want to put forks and spoons and knives all in the same section of your silverware holder in your drawer. One awesome thing that I've been learning about SI is, well, first of all, there's NI, which I believe is necessary for a vision of setting the goal, but SI is necessary when achieving the goals, because you need to break it down step by step and take physical action for things to get done. So having SI, that's a really good pro, or at least utilizing SI. But the cons of SI is SI requires a great amount of details and facts in order to draw connections usually. So that can be kind of dangerous if something happens and a lead SI type needs to understand why that event happened, especially if it's like something like a water faucet had an issue or whatever, and like their house is like flooding now because it's like bursting with water and spraying the water everywhere. They would have to like check everything. They'd be like, oh my God, like where'd that come from? Unless it's like super obvious and it's like, oh, they pulled the handle off and some crap happened. But you know what I'm saying? Like they need to make a connection more quickly and it would do damage.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you want to, Leon, talk about how you asked me to organize your bathroom?
Oh, sure. I didn't really ask you. I made you. But when you came over, I was just kind of upset that my girlfriend keeps leaving all her stuff on my side of the kitchen sink. Because I was like, all right, let's have my side, your side. You can do whatever you want on yours. I'm going to try to make mine organized. And I still kind of failed because I don't really know SI very well yet in my life because it's like my shadow. But when Asees organized it, he made everything fit very well. And good job, Asees. Like it looked completely different. There was a lot more space. There was an obvious line between her side and my side because they were kind of almost mirroring each other, though she had more stuff than me. You know, it's very similar in the what do you call that? Symmetry. So thanks, man. I still keep up my side.
Nice. Well done, dude.
Nice.
All right, Odin, do you want to go over the just some pros and cons real quick?
Yeah.
From SI?
So this will be a bit abstract, but so I
Oh
think
no, you can't talk abstract, dude. This is SI.
Can't. All right. Okay. You can kind of master reality through SI. So since the sensory is organized, you have the ultimate flexibility of to do what you want. So that's the goal of all the IJs, to organize so that they have ultimate freedom. So SI is trying to do that. So NI is like a structure that gives you direction, but SI is like a structure that gives you utility, you know? So we can travel in vehicles because of the rules of the road. You know, heck, we even have vehicles because of, you know, whatever subsequent like laws of mechanics that someone wrote down. That's mixing with T, but like it's they also kind of go together. So like someone put it down in like writing and it's organized, and you know, even we have those because of something before that dealing with physics. And so there's a stacking effect of organizing the sensory, which allows us to constantly explore. And yeah, that's kind of like the pro of SI and like big picture civilization way. I don't really have any cons because I don't know. I mean, Leon pretty much summarized it.
Yeah, you did. You brought up some good points there. Asees, did you want to add anything before we finish up?
I forgot what I actually wanted to say something and then
Perfect example of demon
Yikes,
SI.
man.
The other example of demon SI
Demon
is he
feminine
doesn't
SI.
prepare very much because he wants it to be more free flowing. Just to
Oh, he
punch
did
you.
some
Are you
preparation.
talking about?
There
For
was
the
some preparation.
episodes?
Oh right, yeah.
Like we always hammer you to like, hey, get this prepared, and you're like,
right.
okay. And you're just
Right.
like, okay, I'll do one. And,
Yeah,
and that
it's really hard to sort of
Yeah, man.
articulate that mental chaos.
I only do like 2 or 3 of them when I finish it.
yeah, both of you guys.
Like I'll rehearse in the shower and everything, but it's just like that's so
Yeah.
much different because that's more like play, you know.
Yeah, think about it during the week.
It's
Think
harder.
about it
It's
during the
harder to
weekend.
play with writing.
Yeah.
But I noticed like if you just do some bullet points, then you can just take the bullet point when you see it in front of you, then you can expand out and be like, oh, this thing and that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we'll wrap it up. So to summarize, we talked about SI, introverted sensing. That's it for this episode. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check out our Facebook page and Instagram. If you're interested in our merchandise on Instagram, DM us for purchases. See you guys in Atlanta Chaos next time. Does that make sense? Did you guys hear that all right?
Yeah, that was some nice masculine SI, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty hot.
You Niners later.
See you guys. Take it easy. Bye.
No,
Yes,
no, it's
I
not
am.
recording. Now,
It's recording
it
now.
is.
All right, who's hosting?
Cool.
I think-
Me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Jono, then Asees.
Great.
Wow, why does it say Leon and Asees for you?
Yeah, then change it.
I was indirectly trying to tell him to change it.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Pardon?
Burp.
Can you guys hear me fine?
Oh yeah, we can hear you hella fine, bro.
Yeah, man, you look great. You're like in 8K right now.
You
can
look
see
like you're
each-
18 years old and ready to go.
I can see
Look at
each strand of your
HD
facial hair. Bro.
resolution.
I can see every strand of your facial hair.
Of that manly adult-like facial hair.
Yeah, it looked good, man.
I have
Is
to
today
turn off
actually
my
your
heater,
birthday, or
hold
is it tomorrow?
Today. Well, it's
today.
It, for you, it was a day behind because you were into the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah, remember?
Today we are-
yesterday I was telling you it'll be tomorrow today. So
Yes.
tomorrow it's gonna be today's today, which is today.
Yes, I get it.
What were you guys talking crap about? You talking crap about me?
And this moment right now, we are all in the same today
Yeah,
Exactly.
true. We
for
are.
another an hour and a half, and then I'm in tomorrow, and you guys are in today, but it's my yesterday.
Cosmic convergence, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Let's get it.
All right.
All right.